think that would allow the state to get through all witnesses but one, and then come back on Monday with one witness remaining. But I think if, especially Thursday, they require going past 5 o'clock.
Okay, well, you know how I hate getting involved in these scheduling discussions, but I'm not opposed to staying past 5 o'clock. Let's just see where we are. And also, it depends on the jury too. So if there are issues with childcare or something, so I'm not opposed to it at all. So we'll just take it one day at a time and see how we go.
I'm saying the legislature, when that county subject, allow me to miss my point.
Well, all right, we'll do you a favor, okay. Anything else?
No, you're right.
Anything from the defense?
So you go.
Okay, then let's bring Paul down to the jurors. How many each speaker? We have 50. Okay. Okay. All right, reach out and tell them we are ready for the jurors. Please, want to go ahead and vote the roll at this time, or you want to wait?
I like that one.
Okay. All right, very good. Real estate restoration is invoked. Please remember, I don't know who your witnesses are. The courtroom is open to the public, so you all have to be responsible for keeping an eye out for who's coming in and letting me know if you believe there's a potential witness in the courtroom.
Yes, sir.
Well, I think that's further complicated by the fact that anyone observing is in the other room, but I don't know the state's witnesses are going to be here today, other than the ones reporting for the Jackson that on our reception.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if that's the case,
And we can
because they have
instruct
language of
the
cause,
witnesses not to, but they're not here, so I can't instruct them not to observe anything or watch anything. Okay. Just why don't you do this? Get the message.
Trial.
Witnesses and defense
The
counsel,
jury
and
selection of Eligio Bishop,
they are not allowed
aka Nature Boy.
any trial testimony
He a
that
cult
might be
leader.
streaming in courtroom 6C. So, and there shouldn't be anybody recording anything in 6C either. The only recording is being done by Fox 5. So there's a deputy in 6C, correct? All right, make sure that deputy knows that no one is allowed. The only recording that is allowed is in this courtroom by Fox 5, and they will share their footage with everybody. So I don't want people with individual cell phones recording what's being streamed into 6C and then ending up on the internet. May end up there anyway, but. Yeah, sure. Would you call them or what do you do? Okay, will you call? Did they choose your phone? Okay. Oh, voir dire questions. Did I get the proposed voir dire questions from either side?
You did, Judge, the state filed theirs last week, and I filed mine as well, during filed waiting on the jury and that.
Okay.
I wanted to ask the court, is it the courts, I haven't been through with you before, do you do the general questions, or do we split the general questions and ask individual, what's the process?
What I usually do is I'll ask my statutory questions, and I give them some preliminary information, and then I turn it over to the state to ask their general questions, and you ask their general questions, and then we'll go one at a time and do follow-up. But I like to review. Do you email that to Jocelyn, or they? You should try to send them to me.
No.
Forward them to me.
You're trying to be slick. That would love. Nature Boy trial jury selection begins today. Out of 50 people, they called Fit the peoples in. To be questioned as being a jury.
Here we go. Proposed. Got it. All right, I got it.
This is Eligio Bishop. This is Eligio Bishop. He's been incarcerated for 2 years in County Jail in Atlanta, Georgia. This is him right here. Shout out to World News. Shout out to World News. And in Channel 11. They bringing the jury into the courtroom now. Going back for it now. You cold? Eligio got you cold. Talk about him. Eligio got you cold. Talk about him. I pray y'all having a blessed day this evening. The trial will start on the 26th, which will be next Monday. Yeah, but next Monday, the trial will begin. They have 3 witnesses from that cult testifying, and they got 1 more to testify. So I'll tell is four young ladies that was in that cult were testifying against Eligio Bishop. But it's gonna add up to what the videos say, because the video paint a lot of pictures of how he is, and they got 2 experts coming in to testify. So in all, is 6 people, 4 young ladies from the cult testify, plus 2 experts witness gonna testify.
Yeah, I need to print it out.
Again, this is him, Eligio Bishop, and his lawyer.
I'll give it to you. Go ahead. Yeah, you can go now. I'm gonna go take a look and sort your question out.
Shout out again to World News 2020. Shout out to World News. If you want to know anything about it, go check out World News channel. World News 2020. Go check out his channel. Because he come with the receipts.
Shout out to the chat, man. Shout out to everybody tuning in, man. If you ain't smashed like already, man, make sure that you smash the fuck up out that like button. We here for it. Like I say, it's done started. So we're gonna see how this go right here. Jury selection, etc., etc. Told you, man, with that court system, man, you never know. You never know. So that means that you can't make little posts and stuff and say this or that is gonna happen. You feel me? Like, this is the court system, which is subject to change. So we are here for it. You already know what it is. Shout out to our set up in the building. And shout out to Lona too, man. Lona was the first one to drop a comment over there. Lona seen it. Lona got the notification as soon as it jumped. You hear me? As soon as it jumped off, she was on deck. She was up in the building. You say it's giving R. Kelly vibes and shit?
I can show you right here.
This shit is wild as hell, man. Just seeing 60 in there with them tight ass, weak ass braids in his head. At them weak ass braids in his head. Robert Booker, like, man, shit. You feel? Robert Booker, like, man, let's go ahead and get this shit over with. Y'all think he looking confident, at all? Does Robert Booker look confident? Just saying, man. He on this shit. Hold on, let me get a good shot of 50 for this thumb easy. Okay, let me get 50 for the thumb easy right quick. Hold on. Yeah, I got to get him with that motherfucker. He got that nigga got on a Daikon jacket. That nigga got on a Daikon. I didn't even got the Nikon jacket on in this one.
You look the same.
He look
Wow,
old in the
yo.
dude.
Who got 50 that little jacket, yo? Like, this shit is bugged the fuck out. I'm like, what the hell? Yeah, man, he could have did better than that. Now, come on now. Y'all could have set the 3 guard up in something nice, man. You feel?
He went for nature boy to the 3 guards to the
I'm sitting here looking at
333.
phone.
All this.
Somebody
He got a lot of
text Booker.
aliases, but his real name Eligio Bishop.
Booker. And it may be you know who's. Yeah, it may be the terrible 2. Since the terrible 3 done got bust all the way down and shit, you hear me? Say you wonder if 60 smell? I don't know. I don't know at this point. I don't know, man. He probably freshened up his stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? He probably, you know what I'm saying, where he got it together and shit. Yeah. Yeah, he done got it together and stuff, man. He knew he was going up in there, you know what I'm saying? Up in there with these folks and stuff. He knew everybody would be in the courtroom and stuff. So yeah, he pretty much done got fresh in every motherfucking thing. Yeah.
But they ain't believe in taking no bath when they was in the coat. Did nobody believe in taking the bath? They had to go outside and doing 1 and 2 outside. They couldn't use the bathroom or none of that.
Oh shit. Damn. Oh shit.
There's a lot of cussing. Got the excuse to cussing, but
See what they gonna do. I think they trying to make some bread off this shit. I think they're gonna scream it to the big leagues. I don't know. Let me see. Let me hold on for a second. Give me 1 second. You say what happened to Malia? We don't know. We all have our thoughts on what the hell happened to Malia. We all got our thoughts.
Malia is one of the wives that really got beat up, got jumped on by other girls, and Eligio himself.
As you can see, they got 60 up in there. Yeah. Let me hold on for a minute. You know what I'm saying?
They call him 60, but in 50s, but his really name is Eligio Bishop.
Already. Oh yeah, it's still got real already. So they basically just shut this thing down. Hold on. Hold on. Oh shit. Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. Damn, this crazy. I ain't never seen them do no shit like this right here. Hold on, give me 1 second and let me see what the hell is going on. Damn. And they ain't playing with 50.
To my
setting?
It's RC.
It's
Private, I'm sorry, private.
Judge, if we can reserve on
Sure.
your.
All right, thank you so much. If you can hand the microphone to juror 22, please hold follow up with you later.
All right, juror 22, I see that you work for Delta,
Yes,
and what do you do for Delta?
I work in flight operations, so I work currently in HR capacity, solely for pilots.
This,
And how long have you been in that role?
That role, 2 years, I've been with Delta for 5.
What role were you in before your flight operations?
the state is asking the jurors questions.
So I worked on the ramp, Alexander Airport, and I went to Great Yellow, kind of on planes, that kind of thing. And then I moved to Atlanta and had my first role in flight operations, which was working in the chief pilot office, which is an office that runs a lot of the airport.
And I believe you answered one of the questions from the court. I believe Judge Hodger asked if your mind was perfectly impartial, and if it was not, to raise your card. And you raised your card that your mind was not perfectly impartial.
Yes, so I think I did that just because the severity of the allegation, because of the severity of the allegations. I don't think that I would let that harm my decision from the instructions from the judge. That was definitely one of the first questions that we asked, and I was surprised that those were the allegations that we were going to be discussing.
Okay. And so as it stands right now, you don't know anything about the case?
No, I do not.
And would you be able to listen with an open mind to the evidence as it's presented in the courtroom?
Yes.
And would you be able to apply or follow the law that Judge Hyder gives you at the end of this case if you are selected as a juror?
Yes.
All right. You also answered our question about spending some time on social media. And we
Is that a
said,
yes?
Yes.
and what kinds of things do you do on social media?
Mostly watch funny dog videos or travel content, cooking, some news, mostly world news.
And you also indicated that you have a close friend or family member that's become obsessed with an idea or a group, so much so that it's affected relationships. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. I think my mom has been politically radicalized over the past 6-7 years, and that has taken a toll on our relationship. As it stands right now, we are okay. We have a decent relationship. It was rocky for a while based on that radicalization.
All right, and I think that is all the questions that I have for you. Thank you.
Mr. Booker?
Just good afternoon.
Mr.
everyone.
Booker, that's Eligio Bishop, lawyer.
But after having more time to digest and think about it, you're willing to listen to the evidence of the case and you'll make your decision based on that?
Absolutely, and I think, I thought it was difficulty being impartial, and I think those allegations were surprising. In my job, I take pilots off the schedule for jury duty, and a lot of time, they, don't get called in for the rest of it, or have a good trial that day and it's done. So I think that just the severity of the allegations, the length of the trial was shocking to me at first, which is why I answered in that way. But now at this point, I think I can take everything that we hear in this room and directions from the judge to make an impartial decision.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
Let me ask you a question. Since you work for Delta, is that
I
right?
work with Delta, yes.
So your vacation work trip coming up, is that something that you can reschedule without losing a lot of money, or is that pretty much, you cannot reschedule? Okay. You would lose a lot of money if you had to reschedule.
Yes.
All right, again, I wish that was something I could excuse you for at this point, but we will just make note of that.
Great.
All right, thank you. 23,
All right, juror 23.
turn your mic on.
Sorry, Judge.
Okay.
Tell me what you do for work.
I work in a construction company,
And how long have you been doing construction?
20 years.
All right, and you answered our question about spending some time on social media.
Yes.
What kinds of things do you
I
do?
interact with the family and friends.
Okay.
Then watch Hollywood movies.
You interact with family and friends, and then what kind of movies do you watch?
Hollywood movies.
Oh, okay. And I don't have that you answered many of our questions. Is there something that we neglected to answer that you think we might want to know about you as it relates to your ability to serve?
No.
Okay. Any reason you can't be fair to both sides? All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Booker?
All right, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
All right, you work as a contractor, you're a general contractor, what kind of construction do you do?
We do sidewalk from county,
For the county?
yes,
For the county?
the caravans, things of Atlanta,
Okay. All right, is that your own business?
yes.
Do you supervise others there? Do you have employees?
No, I'm not the owner of the company, I work there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I work there.
Okay. And you've been working for the same company for about 20 years?
20 years, yes.
All right. If you didn't answer much in the way of questions, is there any reason that you can think of that would make you not fair and impartial for the case?
Almost,
That you can be fair and impartial?
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Juror 24. Juror number 24, do you currently work outside the home?
No.
Okay. Have you previously worked outside the home?
Years ago, yes.
Okay. What kind of work did you do?
I worked at a hospital in, the treatment department, downtown.
And how long did you work at the hospital?
My last is like 22 years. So it's not very long.
And you also spend some time on social media? No?
Basically, no. I get all my, information on the news, TV.
And your questionnaire, it looks like you answered that you have been the victim of some sort of home break-in or robbery.
Yeah, in the community that I'm still in, recommended, 30 years, previously, back in the early 90s, my home was broken into 3 different times.
And you have never caught anybody?
They caught 2 other people, but I never did find out who it was.
Any negative feelings toward law enforcement because of their inability to catch all the folks involved?
No.
And you answered our question about attending a religious service, at least once a week.
Yes, I go to church, every Sunday, and, some days for the week, yes,
And are you on any ministries or do you hold any leadership positions at your church?
yes.
What kind of ministries are you involved in?
The usher ministry.
All right, anything that, we didn't talk about that you think you might want to know as it relates to your ability to serve?
No.
And you have previously served on a jury before?
Yes.
And I don't want you to tell me what the verdict was, but were you able to reach a verdict?
Well, I didn't get that far.
Okay. All right, thank you. Mr. Booker? Okay.
Sorry.
Over here.
Everybody else is here.
I can't see you.
It's okay. So, are you related to someone that works in law enforcement?
No.
No, okay. These questionnaires that make you, do you know someone that works in law enforcement?
No, not law enforcement, no.
Not law enforcement, okay. All right, and you indicated you regularly get your, information from the news or TV. Do you have any prior knowledge about this case from any TV that you're aware of?
I haven't heard about this case, no.
Okay, all right, and are you willing to apply, regardless as a juror, to apply anything you may learn just from the evidence that you'll hear in this case in the courtroom?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, 25. All right, juror 25, can you tell me what you do for work?
I'm a banker,
And how long have you been a banker?
roughly 20 years.
And you answered our question about spending some time on social media?
Yeah.
And what kinds of things do you do on social media?
Basically everything. I news, entertainment, games. Yeah, I don't watch TV, so I'm mainly on my phone.
Do you ever spend any time on YouTube?
Just listen to like church service or, play music or something like that.
Now, is that your church service that you stream, or do you watch?
Yes, my church service, yeah.
Okay. And you also indicate that you do attend a religious service at least once a week.
Yes, just go to church.
And are you a part of any ministries, or do you hold any leadership roles at your church?
No.
And you also indicated that you have a close friend, family member, or you yourself has been the victim of a sexual assault.
Yes, that was my niece's friend. That was like 25 years ago in a different country.
And your niece's friend, do you know if she disclosed that to her family or law enforcement? And when you found her, when she disclosed it, was it immediate, or did it take some time for her to talk about what had happened?
I don't remember. It's been so long, but I don't really remember the time frame.
Anything about that experience with your niece's friend that would prevent you from being fair to both sides in this case?
Oh, not at all.
All right, anything we didn't cover with you? All right, thank you.
26. Oh, sorry, I didn't know I did it.
All right, so you've worked for banking and banking for about 20 years?
Yes, sir.
Has that been most of your self, employment?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And in your position, do you have the ability to hire for other people?
I used to,
Okay.
but I am in the new bank now because I moved from Florida here. But in my prior bank, I was a manager, so I used to.
Okay, and how many people would you care to supervise?
Anywhere from 4 to 8.
4 to 8?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, do you think you can be a fair and impartial jury in this case?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
All right, now 26.
All right, juror number 26, tell me a little bit about what you do for work.
I work in the sports licensing industry,
And how long have you been in that industry?
25 years.
And you previously served on a jury?
I have,
And without telling me what the verdict was, were you able to reach a verdict?
you weren't.
And I believe you answered Mr. Coby's question about subscribing or following the YouTube channel. What kinds of channels or things do you watch on YouTube?
And while I was serving as an admin for my daughter, posting videos of her because she was being recruited for college for sports. She's no longer interested, so I'm no longer posting those things.
Bummer. And you also answered our question about attending some sort of religious service, maybe once a week or so. And do you hold any leadership roles?
I'm on like our admin committee.
All right, anything we didn't discuss with you that you think you may want to know as it relates to your ability to serve?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you, sir.
Mr. Bucker?
Sports license in the industry, what exactly do you do?
We're like a middleman between colleges and universities and companies like Nike and Adidas that want to use their logos and promote product.
Okay, so when Jordan wants to use whoever,
We got a lot of money now.
do you mediate the contract between them, or how does that work?
We negotiate deals between, to sign the schools and then ultimately to sign the companies that want to use their lines.
Okay, and how long have you been in the field?
25 years, well, in industry about 30, with the company about 25.
Okay, and do you supervise others in that position?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you indicated you were on that administrative committee, were you talking about your church?
Yes.
All right. Is there any reason you could be a fair and impartial jury in this case?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
27.
All right, juror number 27, I see that you are a social worker or a social worker consultant?
Consultant.
Okay, and what kinds of things do you do as a consultant?
I'm employed by the Department of Family and Children's Services. I serve as a consultant for Children's Health Care at Landwood.
And how long have you been in that role?
13 years as a consultant, 21 years with DFACS.
And you also indicated that you subscribe to a certain YouTube channel or you watch certain things on YouTube. Did I get that right?
If I indicate it, it's very rarely.
What kinds of things do you watch on YouTube?
Music or funny pet videos.
All right, and I guess by virtue of your job, you answered Mr. Coby's question about having a background in psychology. Was it through your job or?
No, it was just my major in college. Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, minor in Social Work.
Did you do any clinical hours, or did you have to speak with victims or anything like that?
Not during my, education, I do that now in my position.
And does it just run the gamut of, just the type of victims you speak with, or are there particular type?
In short, I work with the child advocacy physicians at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta in their forensic evaluations for kids who have been suspected of being abused or neglected.
And you answered Mr. Booker's question about knowing someone, either a close friend or family member, who's been in an emotionally abusive relationship or a relationship where there was controlling behavior.
Controlling, that was myself, it was 25 years ago.
And did it ever turn physical?
No.
Anything about that experience that would prevent you from being fair to both sides in this case?
Absolutely no.
All right, I think that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, just a couple questions. Earlier, I believe you were the one who was clarifying my questions about having experience working with victims.
Yes.
And so in your current position, you work as a consultant for children, I think you indicated, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that primarily, is it older children or babies that may come in with broken bones? What range of children do you work with?
All, the population is typically nonverbal, or developmentally delayed.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Do you have to work with law enforcement in that position?
we collaborate with law enforcement, DBACs.
Okay. Have you ever had to testify?
Yes.
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 Okay. Have you ever testified? How many times do you think you testified? More than 10 times?
Yes.
Okay. And when you testified, in what capacity were you testifying?
The majority of my testimony was when I was in the field as an investigator with DFACs.
Okay.
I don't testify too much nowadays. If I do, it's to corroborate what a physician is saying, so I really don't need to testify.
Okay. All right. You're saying your word is not better than physicians?
Absolutely, I am. Yes.
Was it juvenile court that you testified in?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Are you related to someone that works in law enforcement?
My stepson is homicide detective.
Okay. What county?
Cherokee.
Cherokee. Okay. And does he ever talk to you about the case of these investigators or anything like that?
We didn't get to talk that much, we've both been busy.
Okay.
We had a common case, but I mean.
Okay. Okay. Well, he's home. You know someone that is an attorney?
I do. My niece, Tessa Barr started being an attorney, and then I was friends with a special assistant attorney general.
Okay. What was that saying that you worked with during your time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And your niece that just passed the bar, what kind of practice law she practiced?
Employment?
Employment law? Okay. All right. Do you think that you can be a fair and impartial jurist both sides of the case?
I have to do it every day in my job. You know?
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, 28.
No, number 28.
Number 28, I said you are a therapist,
And
and do you work in a particular field?
I have a private practice and it ranges in terms of diagnoses, but I do work a lot with trauma.
And how long have you been a therapist?
In private practice, 10 years, 10 years, yeah.
And what about outside of private practice?
I was a school social worker for 15 years.
And you indicated that you know someone who's been in a controlling relationship or emotionally abusive relationship. Are you thinking about folks you work with or someone personal to you? Both, okay. Let's talk about, we'll leave work to the side, but talk about the folks that are close to you. Is that yourself or someone you know or a family member?
Can we do that private?
Sure. Judge Bigger,
Yeah. 28, no problem, thank you. 29.
All right, juror number 29. Do you currently work outside of the home?
Yes, I do.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm an automotive painter,
And how long have you been in that role?
about 10 years.
Did you do any work prior to that?
Yeah, I was in the construction field.
And you answered our question about engaging with social media or spending time on social media.
It's also trying to look at a car video and listen to music and stuff like that.
All right, and I don't think you answered very many of our questions. Is there something that we didn't cover with you that you think we may want to know about you? Or any reason why you can't be fair to both sides in this case? Oh, I do have one question. I believe you answered Mr. Kobe's question about either you yourself, close friend, or family member feels that they have not been treated fairly by the police or prosecutors or the criminal justice system.
Yes, I was accused of something that I didn't have nothing to do with back when I dealt with you.
And did it result in you being arrested and having to come to court?
No, I didn't.
And was it criminal in nature, what you were accused of?
Yes.
So was it something that was, you had a talk with a sergeant, or can you tell us a little bit about that?
It was like back in high school, I had a talk with the school police. It was about a situation where some people got in a fight and they thought I had something to do with it, but I didn't.
Any negative feelings toward law enforcement generally because of that experience?
No.
All right, thank you.
All right, Jared, number 29, how you doing, sir?
How you doing?
Okay. Didn't answer many questions. I think you answered that you have a friend or family that's an attorney. You know someone that's an attorney?
Yes, I do. I have a cousin that's, I think he's a sports attorney or something like that. Something sports.
Is that here in Atlanta?
It's in Eligio.
Okay. And you said you worked as an automotive painter. Do you work for a dealership?
I work for Selcton right now.
Okay. Well, y'all have many colors.
I know, man. Makes the job easy.
And you've been working for them for how long?
A year and a half now.
Is that the one right here in town?
In Tucker.
In Tucker, okay. All right. Are you related to someone that works in law enforcement?
Yes, I am. I have an uncle that's a retired detective.
Okay. You know where you work at?
In Illinois.
Is that where you're from originally?
Originally.
Okay. All right. Do you feel like you can be a fair and impartial jury to both sides?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, where are we? 29? 30. Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Like, said, have you served on a jury before?
No, sir.
And are you retired?
I was disabled. I caught COVID back in 2020 and almost passed. And I got arthritis all over my body and they said that I was disabled not to work.
Okay. Have you worked in the past? What kind of work did you do?
I used to take care of elderly people, but now I can't do it anymore.
And you didn't answer too many of the questions that we asked, did you?
Is that a no?
No.
Is there anything that we didn't ask that you think is important for the attorneys to know?
No.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well,
Oh, hold on, stand back up, thank you.
all right. So I didn't catch what you said. What did you do prior to going on disability?
I used to be taking care of the elderly.
Okay, is that where you spent most of your career, your work career, taking care of elderly people?
Yes, sir.
Okay, was it like in the hospital or in the nursing
No,
home?
just word of mouth.
Oh, my word, okay, all right, and you lived here in Cab most of your life?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, is there any reason that you can think of, that would make you not a good juror for this case? You think you can be fair and impartial on both sides?
No.
You don't think you can be fair and impartial on both sides?
Oh, yes.
I spun it around the world. Let me try to think. Do you think you can be fair and impartial to the state and to the defense in this case?
Yes.
You do? Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. 31.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You answered the last question of the morning part that was sort of the wild card. What didn't we ask that we need to know? Do you care to elaborate on that?
Just about my employment, I work for the state psychiatric facilities out back in Burlington.
Okay.
At Georgia Regional?
At Georgia Regional, yes.
Do you think that's relevant? Like, do you think that's going to impact your ability to perceive the evidence in this case?
I do not.
And you also said you have your own YouTube channel, is that right?
I do.
What is sort of the topic of that?
I haven't posted on it for over 10 years. It was a music channel that I posted a couple songs on. I can probably.
I think you also said that yourself or someone you know have been the victim of sexual assault.
Yes, I have a parent who was assaulted as a child, never communicated with law enforcement and disclosed later to their parents. And I have a close friend who in college over 10 years ago was in a relationship with somebody who was physically and sexually abusive.
Do you think that what you know about those cases or situations would affect your ability to be fair to both sides in this case?
No, I do not think it would affect my ability to be fair to both sides.
That's all the questions I think. All right, what kind of therapy do you do for your regional future?
My current role is as a treatment team facilitator, so I don't do direct therapeutic care. I mostly coordinate treatment plans and meet with patients to evaluate progress with the full treatment team.
Okay, and these are people that are being housed in the facility?
It's not a residential facility, but yes, there are people who are on the inpatient level.
Okay.
And I work on the non-forensic side.
Okay. All right, and what's your educational background to do that?
Music therapy.
Music therapy, okay. So you're a musician to an extent?
Yes.
Okay. So the videos that you posted, were you playing your own instruments?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and you know an attorney? Just want to practice law?
Yes, I have a friend who's in immigration law.
Immigration law, okay. And you know someone that was in an abusive or controlling relationship?
Not a controlling relationship, no. I was in an abusive relationship over 10 years ago in college.
Okay, all right. Do you think that would impact your ability to be fair and impartial in this case?
I don't.
Okay, and I just want to revisit what the state asked you about. So you did bring up that we hadn't asked you about being employed by Georgia Region. Do you think that would impact your ability to listen to the evidence in this case and to discern the evidence in any way?
No, not at all.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, next.
Judge 232 answered all three of the preliminary questions. We can reserve just
Okay.
questioning private on.
Okay, all right, we're gonna follow up with you, 32, number 33.
Hello. As a lead at Walmart,
Yes,
what is that, what's your day-to-day job?
everything,
Okay. How long have you been with Walmart?
16 years.
And have you stayed at the same store for 16 years?
Right on Memorial Drive.
Okay. It says you're related to someone in law enforcement?
Yes, a cousin from Camp County.
Patrol or investigations, or do you know?
For my cousin,
Yeah,
police officer.
okay. Does he work any specific types of cases?
I don't know.
I believe you raised your hand that you had heard something about this case before?
I've seen it on the news before.
Okay,
That's all I look at. I've seen it before, but it was on the news.
okay. Would you be able to set aside anything you see on the news and decide the case based on what you hear in court this week?
Yes and no, because I have a friend that's on trial for the same thing he's on trial for,
Okay.
and he has talked to me about the trial.
And he's talked to you about his trial or he's
Yes.
talked
No,
about
no,
his
no, not
trial?
him, my friend. So when you said what we still for, I was like, wow.
Okay. And so I'm just trying to make sure I understand. You think that what happened in your friend's case might affect the way you feel about this case?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you also indicated that you knew someone who was not treated fairly by the police. Is that the friend you're talking about, or is that?
Yes.
Okay. believe that's all the questions, I think.
Mr. Becker?
All right, thank you. Juror number 33. So your friend that was treated unfairly by the police, if their police officer testified in this case, will you still listen to them? Or do you feel like because you have that opinion that you won't listen to law enforcement in this case?
I will listen.
Okay. You haven't made your mind up either way on this case. You haven't leaned one way or the other at this point?
No.
Okay. Will you wait until you hear all the evidence before you make a decision on whether or not my client is either guilty or not guilty?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you indicated also that you have a friend that's on trial for the same allegation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well,
Wait, hold on, gotta make sure you say
Yes.
yes.
with their friend's case being in the same position, do you feel like that would impact your ability to be fair and impartial in this case?
No.
No? All right, will you base your, the same line of question, will you base your decision on the evidence in this case, not your friend's case?
Yes.
Okay. Couple more questions. Did you make a statement to police regarding something pertaining to a sexual assault case? Did you recall? I think you answered that. Yes, sir.
I have a friend, but
Your friend made an accusation of sexual assault?
yes.
Okay. Did you have to do a statement to the police regarding that?
No, they just told me that.
They just told you about it? Okay. And the job you have at Walmart, you supervise other people in that position?
Yes.
Okay, how many people?
I have like 12 people on my team.
Okay, and do you hire and fire those people as well?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you, ma'am.
All right, 34.
Good afternoon. You just tell us about what you do for work.
I teach, so I do support administration for student and department management company.
How long have you been doing that sort of work?
This company, I've been there for almost 3 years, and I've been in IT for 7.
Can you go to church or religious service regularly?
I do each once a week.
Do you serve in any sort of ministry or leadership capacity?
No.
And what sort of things do you use social media for?
Just like sports, technology, science, music.
Anything we didn't ask, do you think the attorneys in this case should know?
No.
That's all I got, thank you.
All right, really quickly, in your position, you supervise other people?
I don't.
You do not, okay. And your educational background is in information technology?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You didn't answer much in the way of questions. When you're not working or watching videos on YouTube, what are you doing for your time?
Playing video games at home or hanging out with some friends.
Okay. Did you go to school here locally in Atlanta?
And Eligio.
Okay. And you feel like you can very impartial both sides?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, now we need to get that down to George 33, I believe. No, 35. 35.
It's 35.
Good Lord, okay. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What does Dunlop and Associates do?
It is a wealth management firm,
Okay. And how long have you been?
almost 11 years.
I believe you indicated that someone you knew had become like obsessed with an idea that affected their relationships. Can you tell us about that?
Political radicalization, which is prevalent.
And do you have your own YouTube channel?
I operate the YouTube channel for my office.
Okay. What sorts of things do you use social media for?
Mostly music, a lot of local bands, embarrassing amount of cat videos, and currently patio furniture.
Okay. Have you served on a jury before?
I have,
And did you make it past this point?
I did,
Was it a criminal case or a civil case?
criminal.
without telling us the verdict? Were you all able to reach a verdict?
No.
And the police you indicated that yourself or someone you know has been the victim of sexual assault.
Yes,
Are you comfortable discussing that now?
yes.
Was that?
Hello, how you
My
doing?
son's got
We
one.
are watching the jury selection of Eligio Bishop. He a cult leader. He got caught 2 years ago. Now they're having jury selection, and his trial will start on the 26th, which is next Monday.
Happened before I met her.
It's 4 young ladies from the cult that's testify against him, and 2 expert witnesses that gonna testify too.
Mr. Tucker?
Hey, man, how are you doing?
I'm well, how are you?
Not too bad. So you work for a wealth management company. Is your educational background in business management or what is it?
No.
What is it?
I've done a lot.
There's a lot of Eligio Bishop out there. So just because he
I didn't graduate.
is getting, he gonna get
Yes.
what he deserves, we got to put more down. We got to put more. Not because they coming to our young ladies. Now you're the young ladies, the young men, kids, whoever that can eliminate their mind.
I am.
And how many people do you supervise in that position?
I have one.
And the young ladies between 19, 18, 19 and up.
How many people are in?
Right now, 6. We're looking for 2 more. If anyone's interested.
All right, fair enough. And you know someone that's been in an abusive relationship before?
Yes.
Okay, could you tell us who they are? You will share who they are?
With me.
Okay. Do you feel like that would impact their ability to be very impartial in this case?
No.
Okay. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. 36.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Have you served on a jury before?
It's been years, yes.
Okay, and did you make it past this point?
No.
Okay. And you go to church regularly?
Once a week, yes.
Okay.
I attend church.
Do you serve in any sort of ministry or leadership capacity with your church?
No. Sometimes I write special papers for a program, but not.
Okay. I think you answered the question that you have some sort of training, like legal training or training in the law.
Yes, I retired from the Sheriff's Department in Texas.
Okay.
I have a brother-in-law who's a captain, retired captain, sister who's a peace officer in Baylor.
And when you worked for the sheriff's office in Texas, what sort of work did you do?
Pardon me?
What sort of work did you do for the
I was
sheriff?
a detention officer for 9.5 years.
Okay. And do you think that your experience as a detention officer would affect your ability to be fair in this case?
On certain things, being honest, yes, because we were always taught, don't trust anyone, don't trust, but don't judge them at the same time. So when I retired, it was kind of like I was trying to.
I'll tell you what, if we need more details from you, we'll follow up with you privately
Okay,
about
thank
it.
you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I don't have any
Okay.
other questions at this point.
Yeah, we could just follow up.
Yeah. Thanks. Okay, 37.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Since you work in healthcare, what sort of work do you do in healthcare?
I take care of elderly.
Okay. And how long have you been doing that?
Hello, how you doing? I hope y'all having a blessed evening. You're watching the jury selection of Eligio Bishop, aka Nature Boy.
And what sort
His
of
trial
things do you
started on
do
26th. Right now they're doing jury selection. He been locked up for 2 years. He got 4 the young ladies that was in the coat testifying against him and two expert witnesses testifying on next Monday, which is the 26th.
Yep.
Thanks for coming in and watching. Cause this is real out here. It's a lot of Eligio bishops out here on the internet. And we need to keep our young ladies safe and our young males safe.
Yes,
And what sort of work do you do?
I'm a hairstylist.
How long have you been?
So we're getting awareness out
About 4 years.
that there is out here on internet,
Do you have your own?
on Twitter,
Yes.
on Instagram, on Bigo, and on YouTube and any other social media that is out here.
You're the one with the child, correct?
Yes.
Okay. What are you doing for pickup today?
Well, that is yet to be decided. I'm trying
What
to
you're
work
watching
with
now
parents,
is
but
the
I can't
is the
comment on that,
state
so we'll see at the next break.
questioning.
Okay, if you need to take a break after you're done to go make that phone call, you're welcome to.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I believe you indicated you knew someone who was not treated fairly by the police or prosecutors or criminal justice.
Many people.
Okay. Do you feel like you could be fair to both sides in this case?
I want to shout out to
grievances against both.
to King Word 2020.
I have no further questions at this point. Thank you.
Mr. Becker?
So you feel like you'd be equally,
sorry.
okay, you'd be equally grieved against both sides?
Yes.
Okay, so that means you could be fair,
Okay, sure.
right?
Equally grieved because of your childcare situation or what, why?
No, never that. I just know a lot of people that have been sexually abused, raped, molested, including myself. So I think I would probably, no offense, be leaning more against the defense and is, just bias.
Okay, so you feel like you would have bias?
Yeah, more so leaning.
One way or the other, it doesn't matter which way. You would have a leaning toward one side or the other.
I think so.
And that bias that you would have, whether it's one way or the other, would be one that you would not be able to set aside based on the instructions of the court.
That is the defendant's attorney right here that you're watching. On the other side of him is this Eligio Bishop, aka Nature Boy.
And I know you have your two kids. The other thing
If
would
you
be
don't know
that
too much about it, he was a
so
co-leader. He been to the Legay, he been to Hawaii, and he been to Akawa, I can't pronounce, but he done been all over
39.
outside the U.S.
You work outside the home?
I'm a freelance designer. I lost my job last year, so I'm figuring out work quick.
One lady testified that he split up behind open.
Okay.
So in-house design teams.
How long have you been in graphic design?
30 years.
You watched my video earlier from this morning.
No, I'm sorry. You subscribe. Do not
It's his transcript
LinkedIn is the only.
where the three ladies testify against him. On yesterday.
Indicated you knew someone who was not treated fairly by police or prosecutors.
Yes.
Was that yourself or someone that you know?
The transcript came out yesterday. So
Just was it recently or a long time?
Long time ago.
In DeKalb County or somewhere else?
right now they about close to number 40 in the jury selection.
That's all we need to know about that. And you also indicated that you knew somebody who was, I believe, a victim of sexual assault.
Correct.
Is that something you're comfortable talking about?
Sure.
And was that you or someone that you know?
Don't mind hit the thumbs up for me. I really do appreciate it.
Twice. Both of them have been raped.
Give me Evan written to my channel. They keep pushing it out.
And from what you know about those incidents, do you think that would affect your ability to be impartial in this case?
I don't know.
If you had to take an oath decide the case based on the evidence you hear in court this week and next week, would you be able to try your best?
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
Thanks, if that's all the questions I have.
I've been watching this story for a long time, for about 2 years. I've been watching this.
Are you gonna make your decision based on the evidence you record?
But
Okay.
I'm gonna have my own commentary
Yes.
Okay.
after this.
You know,
And then I have another video I want to show about female named
It is.
Seriri,
Tax or businesses.
well, I got Queen and Danny
And creative.
beat Michelle up. They court is coming up.
What's your educational background?
College and art school.
Okay, where's your job?
College in Tennessee, art school in Atlanta.
Okay, all right. And you feel like you can be a fair and impartial jury of both sides?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
40.
No, number 40. Now you see that's the juror Stacy K. Hendrick, Hydrant.
And how long have you been doing that?
10 years.
And so is that sort of like in the human resources?
Training and development.
Okay. And do you have your own YouTube channel?
No. I help manage the work.
The work one?
Tracy K. Hedrick. She is residing this
You indicated that yourself or someone you know has been
this
victim
court
of sexual
procedure.
assault.
Yes.
Is that something that you're okay discussing now or in private?
We can discuss it.
Was it yourself or someone that you know?
Somebody that I know, multiple people,
And what were their relationships to you?
cousins.
Approximately how long ago was it?
20 years and 10 years, roughly.
Were the abusers people that they knew?
Yes.
And do you know if they were reported immediately or was there some delay or never?
They were reported. I don't know if there was a delay or not.
Have you served on a jury before?
Yes.
Did you make it past this point?
Yes.
Was that a criminal case or a civil case?
Civil?
And without saying what it was, were you all able to reach a verdict?
Yes.
That's all the questions I have, thank you.
Mr. Becker?
Judge, the same as juror number 32, juror number 40 answered in the affirmative most of the first two questions. Can we observe on that?
Sure. All right, 41.
Hello?
Hi.
Stewart and payroll?
Yes.
Hold on, where's the mic? Okay, we gotta hold it up so, to your mouth so we can hear you.
Yes,
How long have you done that kind of work?
almost 7.5 years.
You have some legal training, is that right?
No, I was in a class.
What was that class in?
I don't remember, it was a law class. All I remember from the class that was fun for me was I learned how to write briefs.
That was fun?
That was fun.
You indicated that yourself or someone you know had been a victim of sexual assault.
Yes.
Is that something that you're comfortable talking about?
It was familiar.
And approximately how long ago?
Ranging 42 years to 5, as recent as 5 years ago, with various familial relatives.
And were any of those reported to the law enforcement?
Yes.
based on those situations, do you feel like you could be fair to both sides in this case?
I was about to agree for the longest one, so, yeah.
You indicated also, or you raised your hand that you knew someone who was not treated fairly by the police.
My niece.
Was that here in DeKalb County?
No.
About how long ago was that?
Christmas break.
So recently. Just
Hello, how you doing? I hope you're having a blessed evening.
Is that something
If you don't mind, please
you feel
hit
like
that like
you could
button
hold against one
so
side or
my
the other?
video can
I don't think I have
go
any other
through
questions.
that I'm gonna give
Wait, hold on a second. Juror number 3, you have a question?
doing awareness of
Go right ahead.
Eligio
You can
Bishop.
Step outside, please. Same, if
He
juror.
been locked up for 2 years.
To do that, just, and when you come back in, please make sure the phones are off.
Been locked up for
ahead.
2 years. They're having his jury selection. And we on 41, 42. They on 41, 42. And
Let's see, me, my sister, my mother.
and the trial begin on the 26th, which is next Monday, for the young lady that was there is testifying against him, and 2 experts is testifying. So hopefully, when the expert get done talking and the young ladies get done talking, he will be put away.
The others I didn't know.
Okay. All right. Do you think because of that, you could be a fair and partner during this case anyway?
Yeah.
You said you had a family member or a few family members, that were sexually assaulted. Were they
Anybody like Eligio Bishop that's on the internet, trying to lure the young ladies and young men and kids? They don't need to be on the internet. They need to be somewhere to get some help.
But you said yes, there were people who lived in the same household as you?
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Okay. Some of them were people who.
At various times in my life, I lived in the house with them, and then I moved out, and they stayed, and so that's the no part of it.
Were these sisters and brothers or children?
Sisters.
Okay.
Sister.
Okay. Not your children?
No.
Okay. And you said you work at payroll now. What did you do before you worked at payroll?
Retail.
Retail. Okay. And who do you work for?
Do I have to give that?
Yeah.
Okay.
What kind of retail was it?
I know a lot don't like to listen to it because it ain't they family that's in a situation, but it don't have to be our family in a situation. It's somebody else's family in a situation. It's like 15 or 20 of these young ladies and young men were being abused, manipulated, beat up, get put out in the middle of the night, deprive them of food, and they had to go outside and do 1 and 2. They couldn't use the bathroom inside, and if they did, the door had to be open, not closed.
And consulting and workforce development.
And what company do you work for?
This jury trial is in Atlanta, Georgia, in the DeKalb County jail. That's where he is sitting at right now, besides being in the courthouse right now.
And what sorts of things do you use social media for?
I use LinkedIn a lot for work, and then keeping up with family and friends, cat videos, cooking videos, travel.
You indicated that yourself or someone you know has been a victim.
Again, this is the prosecutor, him and the young lady next to him. They the prosecutors.
It was a friend, she was in a long-term abusive relationship. She ended up getting a restraining order, but there were no criminal or civil charges other than that.
And your, I guess, knowledge of what happened in that situation, would that affect your ability to be fair in this case?
No, I don't think so.
All right, just really quickly, you're working as a programmer now. What's your educational background in business?
I have a degree in philosophy
That
and
is
economics.
the
Is there anything that we failed to ask that you think would impact your-
defense lawyer.
No. Thank you.
That is Eligio Bishop that you're looking at.
Lou,
Hi.
you were for Emory,
Yes.
and how long have you been there?
About 4 or 5 years.
And what do you do as a library assistant? Like, what's your day-to-day job?
So I manage the reading room at the Emory Archive and Rare Book Library, so I just help schedule research.
That is Eligio Bishop right there with his lawyer.
And what do you use social media for?
A little bit of everything, mostly just keeping up with friends and family, cooking, travel, stuff like that.
You indicated that yourself as somebody who has been the victim of a sexual assault.
Yes.
Is that something that you're okay to talk about?
I'd rather talk about it privately.
42. All right.
Number 42, 43.
Give me a line here. Okay, yep, 43. All right, we'll follow up with you privately. I think you can have a seat. Hold on one second, I'm just, yeah, all right, I think we're gonna take a break.
Stacy K. Hydrick, presiding.
So, same
the
instructions
jury
remain
selection.
in effect. You're not to discuss this case with anybody, do any research on anything, and step outside with your cards on the benches. I want jurors 18, 21, 28, 32, 36, 37, and 40 to stand right outside the door. And we'll call you in one at a time. Oh, that's a good question. 15 minutes.
All right, 15 minutes that they taking a break. So I want to tell you a little story about Eligio Bishop. I started watching Eligio Bishop 2 years ago. I came about it when it crossed my screen. Okay, at that time, he had about 10, maybe 15 girls there. He let the males call the females and talk them into coming there. And then Eligio Bishop, he tell them they can't have them, but they was coming for that person. But once they get there, Eligio Bishop say, they can't have them. They belongs to him. So every female that comes there, the male think that they come for them, but Eligio Bishop snatch them away. Even though they don't want to deal with, they come to deal with who they come to deal with. But Eligio Bishop say no. So what he do, he get them, he take their passports, IDs, and all that, and money. All that he take from them. If he don't want to eat that day, that means that the rest of them can't eat that day. They can't take baths. He don't allow them to take no baths, no wash up or nothing. When they go to the bathroom, they can't go to the bathroom on the inside. They have to go to the bathroom on the outside. They have to do number 1 and 2 on the outside. One young lady, she came there as a virgin, and he R-worded her, took her vagina, took her virgin. Another one was, and when he get done with them, and if they don't want to do what he say do, he explore them out on the internet. So everything that he do, he put on the internet. He tell everybody he God. He tell everybody he's God, which we know he ain't. And he got around all his members, and he beat up his wife, Velvet, very much. Cass. She said he was, beating her, picking her, throwing her to the ground. They snatched the baby out of her hands and wouldn't let her go. He said they leave when they get ready, but they can't leave when they get ready because he still hold their passport, IDs, and all that. Money, they don't get no money back. Clothes that they bring, their bags, all of them got to share. I don't know what they do when monthly come on. I don't know what they do because he don't buy no filming stuff for them. So I don't know. Allegedly, they don't have no personnel. Another young lady, she didn't want to do nothing with Eligio Bishop, and he forced himself on her and tore her behind.
The indictment that these were second or subsequent because the court asked in front of the jury, asked the state if these were subsequent violations of the law. And so
subsequent to the charge, to the counts.
Well,
they asked if count 4 was subsequent to count 3 and count 5 was subsequent to count 3 and 4. That was what I asked.
Well, the way the indictment reads and the way the state has it is it constitutes a second or subsequent violation of this law. And so if the state intends to argue that a violation of the law is based on an accusation, then I'm not sure what's the purpose of having, criminal law trial. I think that's based on what he's already said, that that's his position, is that because he's been arrested more than one time, that therefore it would be a violation of the law. And I would move that to akin to when someone is arrested for more than one battery charge is based on a conviction. It's not based on a prior arrest, because again, we have a process in this country. It's a trial court where a jury will determine whether or not he's violated the law. So there are two issues with count 4 and count 5. They add language and into the indictment that are not elements for a jury to consider. So they would be in violation of Mr. Bishop's rights regarding count 4 and count 5, being that they add elements that they're simply not parts of it. And so a jury would not be entitled to determine whether or not they're second or subsequent. That language should never been placed in the indictment, and count 4 and count 5 would be improper because of that. But I would also add count 3, count 4, and count 5 are all issues because, again, they don't place Mr. Bishop on notice of how he allegedly caused it. And when you look at OCGA 16-11-90 B1, in this statute, the way the statute reads is a person violates this if he or she, knowing the content of a transmission or post, knowingly and without the consent of the depicted person, allegedly does that. And so in that section, it doesn't say cause under B1A. It's
electronically transmits or posts.
Right. So it would have to fall under B2, which that's what I'm saying. It cannot be B1.
Oh, I see saying causes electronic transmission or posting. Okay.
Right. And so that would have to fall under B2. That's where you see the language. They cannot argue it under B1. So it would have to literally fall under B2A. And again, looking at section.
Well, it just says section B. It doesn't say.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, then but because they have the language of cause, then if the state gets to go to trial and they can argue that he did it or caused it, then that's an even bigger issue for the mirror, because under that, they can argue under the entire statute, and Mr. Bishop would have to defend under the entire statute, and that's not his obligation. He's here with his freedom, and obviously the rest of his life at issue. He would be entitled to know what code section the state is going to move under in order to effectively defend it. Are they going to argue as they've written in the indictment that he caused it? And if he did cause it, how did he cause it? Or are they going to argue that he posted it himself? And if that's the case, then their indictment is flawed just in that aspect. So whether or not they're moving under B1A or B2A, if they're alleged misdemeanors, then they would have to allege it under B1B or B2B, because that's the only misdemeanor section for that. That's not what they've alleged. They've alleged what would be under B2A, because to post to this social media website, it's to a website, is exactly what they've listed. And so simply put, it's a felony. But again, it doesn't place Mr. Bishop on notice as to how he caused it. And so that's the issue with the indictment. That's why it's subject to the mirror. We're not arguing regarding count 1 and count 2, but counts 3 through 5 are all subject to this mirror. And they also, in 4 and 5, add language that is not in the jury's purview, because they make certain assertions and conclusions that a jury has to determine whether or not this is a subsequent violation of the law. That actually just deals with it. It might as well be say that Mr. Bishop is convicted, because again, if you put that in front of a jury on a felony battery case, for instance, it still wouldn't be.
The issue, sure the court knows the case law around special demurrers, but Wyatt from the Georgia Court of Appeals, State versus Wyatt from 2014 is 295 Georgia 257. I'm sorry, 295 Georgia 257 from 2014. That's sort of the case that is always cited to. The true test of the sufficiency of an indictment to withstand a special demurrer is not whether it could have been made more definite and certain, but rather whether it alleges the underlying facts with enough detail to sufficiently apprise the defendant of what he must be prepared to meet. In this case, we have the date, the length of the video, who is depicted in the video. In Moore versus the state from Georgia Court of Appeals from 2023-54, Georgia Appeals 145. An indictment charging a violation of a statutory offense shall be deemed sufficiently technical and correct if it describes the offense in the language of the statute, or so plainly that the nature of the offense may be easily understood by the jury. An indictment comports with constitutional due process and is sufficient to withstand a special demurrer if it contains the elements of the offense charged, sufficiently informs the defendant of what he must be prepared to defend against, and in the event of another prosecution for the same offense, enables the defendant to accurately determine whether he may plead former conviction or acquittal. In that case, counts 1 and 2 tracked the language of the applicable statutes, alleged all of the elements of the offenses charged.
He's only raising the juror as to counts 3.
Right, I'm sorry, I was quoting from the Moore case,
okay.
where in that case, Mr. Moore was raising an issue with counts 1 and 2. I think, I'll be brief, but I think one of the most, or a relevant case to this is a recent case from the Supreme Court, Eubanks versus State, that's 317 Georgia 563. Ms. Eubanks was convicted of felony murder, and the predicate felony in that case was possession with intent to distribute of heroin. The facts of Eubanks are that Ms. Eubanks was a caregiver for a disabled adult, and that disabled adult came into contact and ultimately overdosed from heroin that Ms. Eubanks was keeping in her home to sell to other people. And the indictment in Ms. Eubanks' case charged her while in the commission, and I'm quoting, while in the commission of the possession of heroin with intent to distribute, did unlawfully cause the death of the victim by exposing said person to heroin while in the commission of the distribution thereof. She raised essentially the same issue that the defendant in this case is, which is that the state did not adequately explain how Ms. Eubanks exposed the victim in that case. And the court in Eubanks in December of last year, 2020, the state need not allege all of the details of the crime in an indictment so long as the allegations contain enough detail to allow a defendant to prepare his defense intelligently. The state did not allege precisely how or when Amy was exposed, in quotes, but doing so was not required to satisfy due process. And then the court pointed out the indictment protected Ms. Eubanks against the dangers of double jeopardy in a possible future proceeding, and informed her that the charges arose out of the conduct resulted in Amy's death. And given that it cannot be reasonably argued she is not protected from the dangers of double jeopardy. So in this case, the state alleged that he caused the posting. We have specific videos that he could not be subject to prosecution for the same conduct in the future. And he is sufficiently on notice that how, when, where the posting took place that forms the basis of counts 3 through 6. With respect to the second argument, subsection B1A deals with websites that advertise themselves as pornographic websites. A website, peer-to-peer sharing site, thumbnail gallery, movie gallery post, linked list, live webcam, web page, or message board that advertises or promotes its services as showing, previewing, or distributing sexually explicit conduct. That's why the state is, Twitter's, for all of its flaws, is not a porn site. So that's why the state's not operating under subsection B1A. We're operating under subsection B1B, which is to post such a post to any other electronic means which does not fall within subsection A, such as Twitter. So because of that, then the punishment portion is C1 rather than C2, right? And C1 makes a person who violates that subsection guilty of a misdemeanor of a higher aggravated nature, provided, however, that upon a second or subsequent violation of this code section, he or she shall be guilty of a felony. Subsection 2, which is right below it, written at the same time, dealing with posting this stuff to porn websites, says, for their recidivist portion, upon the second and all subsequent convictions. So if the legislature had intended a prior conviction to be necessary to elevate a second or subsequent offense under C1 to a felony, they would have used the same language they used in C2. Instead, they didn't, and they just said violation. Furthermore, because of the Supreme Court of the United States decision in Apprendi,
which says any fact that enhances punishment must be alleged in the indictment and proven beyond a reasonable doubt. The state was required to allege that that counts 4 and 5 are second or subsequent violations, or else we would have run into an Apprendi issue. The only exception to Apprendi is when the aggravating factor is a prior conviction, which subsection C2 does not require. I would just say the information, just to get in, I don't know how deep into the facts we need to get, but I think that the evidence will show at trial that this was a website or a Twitter account for which multiple people knew the defendant's credentials to log in, password, but that nothing was posted without his permission. So I don't think that the state would be able to, it's not that we're holding information back, right? It's that this is what we have to allege in the indictment.
Okay, understood. All right, reply.
Sure. So I would love for the state to say, because when they first just told the judge, is that they're moving under B1A. So if they're moving under B1A, why are they using the language under B2 where it says causes? B1A is the allegation. And they also said that it has to do with a pornographic website. And B1 doesn't have any language in it that says that it has to do with a pornographic website.
Hold on, I thought he said he was moving under B1B.
He did? Okay, B1B, right. He said he said he's moving under B1B because B1A requires it to be a pornographic website. And there's nothing in that language under B1A that says a pornographic website. Despite that, the indictment says that they're using B2, which uses specifically the words cause. It's right there in B2. They're moving under B2. So under their allegation let's say B2B is what they would be alleging, because under B2B, their bishop
In Eubanks, the special demur was raised. It wasn't the focus of the oral arguments, but it was focus of part of the opinion. And I think he's right that it's under the, I think I misspoke when I said B1B, it's B2B, but it's just the same issue, because when I said that, I was talking about the recidivist sentencing. So I don't think that makes a difference.
Okay, well, the causes, I mean, absent any case law that says that they have to specifically outline how he caused it to be posted or transmitted, I'm going to deny the demur. I think the state has provided sufficient information to put on notice of what the charges are and what the improper conduct was. So I'm going to deny the demur. If you find some case this evening, Mr. Becker, that says I'm wrong, please bring it to me, to my attention in the morning. But you know, under the Apprendi case, they have to allege the
Apprendi case doesn't have anything to do with it.
Not that part, the other part. It has to do with including the language about the felony versus misdemeanor.
So it has nothing to do with
Right.
defending on notice. The Apprendi case is not on point with that.
No, but I'm just saying, my ruling addresses both issues, because there was an argument that he still didn't, the fact that he included the language was prejudicial to your clients, I believe, so I want to make sure that the order reflects the Apprendi argument with respect to that issue.
Well, the issue would still be under a case, for instance, for defendant. would be under a case, for instance, a defendant who's charged with battery, Judge. I mean, John who's charged with hitting Jane on Monday and then charged with hitting her on Friday is not charged with a felony at this point, even though it's the second or subsequent act of battery. So we still fall in the same thing. I understand the court's position, but I'm just telling the court that, you know, we're in a position where they're putting elements in the indictment that are not actual elements for a jury to consider that would be prejudicial to the defense. But that's the route we're gonna go, that's the route we're gonna
Right, Mr. Covey, you want to respond to that?
The difference is in the statute, right? 16.523.1, which addresses battery, requires a second or subsequent conviction to make it a felony. That's why they wouldn't put it in.
And so does this one.
Let him finish. One thing we're not gonna do is we're not gonna interrupt each other. I promise I give everybody an opportunity to be heard. Okay. All right, Mr. Coveney, please continue. So the battery statute requires
a conviction, whereas this does not.
Okay. Mr. Booker, you disagree with that?
I do, Judge, because the statute requires a prior violation in order for it to be a felony according to the state. It's the same thing, same thing. And I do want to apologize to Mr. Coveney and to the court. It wasn't my intent to speak over him.
No, that's fine. It happens. I understand. It's okay. I just want to remind everybody, it's late. We've been doing this all day. I just want to remind everybody that I promise I will give everyone an opportunity to be heard.
I appreciate that.
Okay. But in the battery statute 16.5 20.1? 23.1. It specifically uses the word conviction, correct, Mr. Kennedy?
99%.
Okay, let's double check. And this uses the word violation. So again, operating under the legislature intends what it says and that type of argument. I think assuming that it's six, let me pull it up.
He's correct, Judge. It does say conviction under 16.523.
Okay, and this statute that we're talking about now, 16.1190, it does use the word violation. So.
And I think that we're splitting hairs on the violation and conviction, I guess.
Maybe we are, but I have to go with we have to go with the fact that the legislature, I have to presume that they intended what they said.
That's right.
So, all right, given that the tomorrow is tomorrow before the witnesses testify?
Yes, Judge. We would ask that the court review the audio of the,
okay.
We can just tend to that
sure.
evidence now if you want to.
Yes. Okay. Do you want me to listen to it now?
No, we're hoping that you would do homework tonight, so save us time with the court. Maybe not. We were trying to save the time on the hearing, Judge, by I think it's the first.
Do you have an electronic copy? Because I don't have anything that will play that. 20 years ago I would have, but.
We can do it in the morning, it's fine.
Or just.
The answer is yes. I mean,
Okay. If you would email me the digital version of that, I'll be happy. How long is it?
The recording itself is about 58 minutes, I believe, but only the part up to where the Miranda warnings are
is what's relevant.
What at least the state's position, that's all that's relevant. I don't believe anyone disagrees with that, but I'm not.
Mr. Booker?
Yeah, I know this.
Okay, so I can listen up until the time the Miranda warnings are read, is what you're saying. Okay, happy to do that this evening.
With that, do we need Detective Finazine to come back, or can we also have a written Miranda waiver we are going to tender and?
Judge, I'm just going to say this out as a point of caution. In any case, I think it's bad practice on the defense attorney's position where we don't have one.
Of course.
So I just think it's best to have one.
Can't we do it prior to the witness testifying though? In other words, I don't think we have to. Okay. Let's do that, and then we'll just try to coordinate it so that we do it when the jury's taking a break or something. But we'll do it prior to the witness testifying as the Daubert issues prior to the witnesses testifying.
Okay. So
will that work?
We're not going to do Daubert for the first witness in the morning.
Oh, is that the first witness you're going to call?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have one of our experts is intending to testify Friday morning. That is the one with scheduling issues, so he has to go Friday morning regardless of where we are in their case. So he will need a Daubert hearing before his testimony, and then the other expert would be our last witness, so that could be as late as Monday.
We're talking about the expert witness,
So
so
we
one
could
gonna
do that.
testify Friday.
Are you gonna be mentioning anything about the testimony?
I'm not gonna be mentioning anything about experts or expert testimony in my opening statement.
Okay. All right, with that, then I think we're okay in holding off to doing the Dahlberg hearings, till immediately prior to witnesses' testimony. Okay? All right. And remember, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, as the jury comes in, we're gonna do that Rule 22 hearing tomorrow. He's here, hello. Told you we weren't gonna be able to get to it till tomorrow. But we will definitely do it at 9 in the morning. And I explained, I explained to him that I cannot, grant or deny the Rule 22 until I get more information about about the process and how it's gonna logistically work. So we will deal with it first thing tomorrow morning, I promise. Okay? All right, anything else?
No.
Okay. All right, thank you all, have a good evening, we'll see you tomorrow morning.
Right, that's the end of that trial.
Email me that digital.
I just did, Judge. Thank you, you're welcome.
This is Shout out to Local Living got this order. Shout out to her. This about Queen Danny and a young lady Michelle that got beat up by them.
We had a lot of questions, and she definitely answered a lot of those questions for us. So shout out to everybody up in the building. I'm very disrespectful. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. And let's just go ahead and continue off where we started. I didn't have a lot of time on yesterday, but we got time on today. So let's come on through with that come through. Let's get it in right quick. This is what y'all wanted. And so we're here, Court Chronicles. Okay? For the date of 2/16/24, Commonwealth versus Queen Op and Danny. Right? Mm-hmm. So y'all remember the girl that did the interview. Y'all remember her. I know some people mad at her because she didn't come out and give the inside teas in depth and through video form. But listen, however we can get it, we got to get it. Now, my job is to come out here and give everybody their props because this is a team effort. This ain't about just, one person taking all of the credit or one person getting all the accolades. That's not a fair way to work this thing. This takes a group effort, of true intentions and, efforts to put forth. So that's why I'm here. I can't speak for nobody else. So something told me to go check my email, and I had got an email where somebody had said, here's a little snippet for you. I said, okay. And then come to
forget something else to remember that Uber Eats has groceries.
No, that's... Yeah, let's just do that. So you guys are familiar with the Philly Chick channel.
Queen Danny.
We're gonna keep in retrospect, keep
against
in mind
Michelle.
what we discussed on
They're
yesterday.
going to court now.
All the tips and clues that we received on yesterday, it definitely put a lot of us at ease. But let's get into Philly Chica's post on yesterday, who is in Philly and has access to be able to go and catch up with the catch up. Now, I had told y'all, there ain't gonna be no more interviews because I know how honorary people work. See, when you're guilty, you don't want to be confronted with that truth. And I do believe that when STD Queen Op agreed to do that first interview with the young ladies, that she thought that maybe she would be able to change some folks' mind. And that just, no. She can fool some of the people, but she can't fool the masses, okay? And so I had told y'all the night before court that I didn't feel like it was going to be a second interview. But why do we need it? Why do we need words from Op, right? She is the predator in this matter. So we don't give a fuck about what she talking about, okay? So Philly Chica says on today's episode of What Happened in Court, Queen Op and Danny weren't feeling talkative after court today. Queen Op sports a new look. Danny's still wearing thrifty fashions. Now don't forget, this is the same young lady who we actually reviewed the audio of the first in detail description of what happened in court. And I thought she was quite funny and she gave hella detail. From what I understand, she does have a podcast on Station Head. If y'all want to go check her out, I'm sure you'll just go type in Philly Chica the same way you would on YouTube. She goes on to say Danny and Queen Op took the stand. Whoop, y'all heard that? Danny and Queen Op took the stand to explain the skits. You know, those skits that aren't really skits. You know, those storylines that were called skits, but we know weren't really skits, but were actually real life. See, that whole skit word, quote unquote, is the reason why Op was able to get away with all her dirty deeds for so long. She called it a skit. And see, people might buy that. People might buy that whole skit thing until the busted lips pop up and the black eyes and the cracked eye socket and the bruises all over the body and the leakage starts dripping from the stove through the star. That's when you know it ain't no goddamn skit no more. Right? She says Danny and Queen Op took the stand to explain skits. The counsel for Op's side which would be their attorney, defense attorney, even tried to argue the actual mental competency of the victim, Shell. Now, how many times have we reviewed video footage where I described Shell as retarded? I described Shell as having downs. I came out many times and used what she knew about Shell's condition and what we would view as a disability to drag her and down her and belittle her, make fun of her, right? But isn't it strange that in court, 16th of February, I would advise her defense attorney to argue the actual mental competency of the victim, Shell? Well, what could they argue? What would be the argument? I would love to know more details. I said I'd pay for them. What's the secret? See, when I go, I'm gonna go prepared, you know? We need more. No disrespect, all due respect, as a matter of fact, but we need more. What was that argument like? Were they trying to say that there was nothing wrong with Shell? I mean, after you have been mentally and physically abused for over 13 and a half years, shit, if it wasn't nothing wrong with you at first, it would surely be something wrong with you in the end, right? I mean, damn, let's just talk about it. Not the average person could go through what Shell went through and come out, sharp as a whistle. Well, anyway, have hallway discussions from both sides talk of video evidence. Y'all hear that? Hallway discussions from both sides, meaning the prosecution and the defense, talk of video evidence proving the above statement. The above statement was mental competence. Is Shell disabled? Was Shell disabled? Is there something wrong with Shell? Was she incompetent? But the hallway discussions from both sides talk of video evidence proving the above statement. I told y'all that audio, them videos, undefeated. Undefeated. The same videos that were recorded by the police officers. Same videos that were recorded by some of you, the screen record girls. The same videos that are resurfacing and being commentated on and broken down by people like me. They were discussed in the hallway from both parties, as well as hushed-toned discussions of either I and or Danny completing anger management. Seems as if I and Danny's counsel want this to plea out and the prosecution is resistant to the idea. Didn't the police tell you through the comments on yesterday that we featured? Didn't we say yesterday through the commentary that we conducted that it will not be Ops way? Op don't call the shots on this one. Now we know that it was Danny who had an order to complete the anger management. And of course, Op and Danny's counsel, meaning their attorney, would want this to go ahead and plea out, right? Because that would make it easy for Op and Danny. It would be easier. But you just heard Philly Chico say that the prosecution is resistant to the idea. Now listen, let's give credit where it's due. This means hope. This means that based upon the evidence, it won't be easy for our and Danny's defense attorney to convince the prosecution to just give him a slap on the wrist and let him plea out. Right? Right. No video or audio was played today in court, says Philly Chica. Yep, Shell was still a no-show. But guess what? Commonwealth was there. And it ain't funny, it's a fact, right? Because we already knew, because we keep it real over here and we have to keep it raw. We have to. We can't, sugarcoat it and, be delusional and all of that. We have to keep it raw. And this is why a couple of days ago, I opened up the platform and threw that possibility out there to y'all. So it wouldn't be a shock factor. Just go ahead and get comfortable with the idea that Shell may not show up. And that's when you start to put your hope and trust in Commonwealth. It is there for a reason. Because there's been many Shells and many times where the victim backs out or gets scared or just wants to proceed on without prosecution. But at this point, the courts and prosecution, DA's office have majority of what they need.
There's a lot of police all over.
And this also
United States is up on this case with Queen Up
from the lovely officer on yesterday.
And Danny.
Okay.
They writing
Speaking of her, because as y'all can see, she ain't scared. I know we had some people in the comments saying that they could
this
not
is coming
trust
from
what was said because I chose to scribble out the identity of the officer, but that was out of respect. Some of you should learn how to go get you some. Okay. Speaking of the officer, she says, more than hope, we have officers from all over the country contacting the DA's office on this. Okay. It affected a lot of people watching what she did.
Yes, it affected me too.
Send you some stuff, and I'll be right here waiting, and I greatly appreciate you. Okay. Ain't that the prettiest officer y'all seen? Okay. Hashtag pretty police. Get into it, man. Yes, sir. But yes, I would appreciate that information. And thank you for your, thank you for your input. I appreciate it because we can't convince everybody, but I bet we can show people that when you play dirty, you don't win. When you play dirty, you don't win. The truth wins. What's right wins. Right? So y'all make sure y'all hit that like button, okay? We're going to conduct some commentary under the Section 107 of the Fair Use Act. We also will be doing that for entertainment, mostly educational purposes only. Yeah, we're showing facts. And keep in mind, we've never had a discussion. This is straight energy, what you see going on right now. This is when energy meets. And I've been telling y'all about that ever since I started this channel. Just got to do your own research. So even though Philly Chica did not give
from Philadelphia, that's what they from. This news is from Philadelphia.
Do a podcast and talk about it, or you guys can.
They call Philly.
Find her and see if she talks about it, right? But she did say that no video or audio was played today in court. Shell still was a no-show. However, court resumes and March the 1st, 2024. She said that she will be present with her notebook ready. She thanks those for tuning in and says as soon as she hears more, she'll let you know. I think that was a nice little piece of inside info. Put a flame in the chat if you agree, a hammer in the chat if you don't. Let's be fair. Be fair. Okay? Be fair. And let me tell you, when you get in them big courtrooms, niggas get nervous. I'm telling you, the bigger the courtroom, the bigger the problem. The higher the floor, the bigger the problem. Because if you got court on floor number 9, you in trouble, bitch. Okay? I'm just saying, it gets a little intimidating. I ain't seeing none of y'all running up there trying to get no video and audio. Come on now. Where's the contender at? Who gon' beat that? Who gonna beat what Philly Chick done gave? I'm just saying. Now, what's quite interesting is that I and Danny did not want to do an interview, and then later on we find out that they had to actually take the stand and explain what them skits was about. Just a little question or two. What was them skits about? How do you explain them skits? I'm talking about the damn near 1,000 skits. How do you explain that? Is there an explanation for something like that? I don't think so. I don't think so. Yep. So let me shout out those that support the channel, like Randy Burns. I appreciate the super sticker. So also, you guys, I wanted to get into some more teas that was dropped on yesterday because, see, when the truth is exposed, it's never half truth or a third of truth. It's usually the whole truth. And what happens is a partial truth will lead to a whole truth, right? This is why you see certain individuals draw to certain channels, okay? Because it's about truth. Y'all don't know how many times that I have done commentary and on similar situations, maybe not something this severe, and people ask me, damn, how did you know that? Right? So yesterday, we dropped some beads, thanks to the officer. And I do appreciate the many comments on yesterday's lives. A lot of you all are woke. You damn sure know what you're talking about. Okay? I can also tell that there has been a shift in the energy based upon the comments. Okay? But I'd like to give you some more to follow through with what we said on yesterday. So another tip is the police officers have contacted the DA's office. They are not getting off easy. They admitted on live that they were harming her. Other officers from all over the U.S. are getting involved. Okay? Now, let's see if that's true or not. Haven't we revealed and reviewed many lives where STD Queen came out and pretty much told her audience what went on behind the scenes when the cameras were out? We heard her do it yesterday. She described on the footage that we watched yesterday on her very own damn channel, she described how they knocked Shell off camera. And don't forget, the Popos was recording even before they kicked the door in. The hospital said that the bruises were no skin and that they weren't just on her face, but all over her body. Very sad, and they will prove it. You're not going to tell me this ain't good news. If you're truly here for the justice for Shell, this is groundbreaking news, damn it. This is what y'all been waiting on. Now, all I need y'all to do is raise that vibration and act like it. When I say y'all, I'm speaking of everybody that's even on this live and not on this live. But at some point in the day, Shell pops up in your mind. Right? Or you might even think about if Op and Danny are going to actually have to face the consequences of their actions. That lets you know that this shit is on your spirit. You know why? Because it ain't right.
No, it ain't right.
And you know it. I don't give a damn if you did like Op. I don't give a damn if you had a crush on grumpy, dumpy, bald mouth
Hospital, the bruises were no
God
skin.
gave you common
And
sense.
they
Common
wasn't
knowledge to
just
know if
on
some
her
shit is right
face,
and if it's
all
wrong.
over her body, very sad, and that is will prove it.
I also hope that I can
Cause I
find
know they
that
took
comment
pictures of her body and all
where
that,
it
her
was
face,
also
all that. They
said
took pictures
that
of
on
it.
the live that we watched on yesterday. Remember when we told y'all, came straight from the officer, that Shell got rushed to the hospital when she got rescued from that house? She went straight to the hospital.
You had to go.
Well, the officers.
It wasn't no option for her to go
Let's say
to the
police is
hospital.
called, something happens at your house. It's up to the officers during an emergency to be able to spot out if they need to call other emergency services like the EMS, like the ambulance. So not only was the police watching, but the ambulance was watching, and based upon what they seen on their footage, they could tell that Shell had concussions, contusions, cracks in her damn head. We don't play this video of Shell leaking. Matter of fact, I'm gonna play that now. I'm about to play that now as I put up these comments. Okay. Can't y'all just tell? Can't y'all spot that we get in closer and closer, and people wonder why and grumpy ain't going live. They better not. See, we get closer and closer to court. And what happens in court, and court is becoming more serious